Hi, Cynple here, and welcome to my channel. I want to say in advance, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, so if you easily offended, my bad, girl. This is all about children's hair and how our patterns and our routines are messing them up. Stop oiling and greasing your baby's hair. This video is about 6 years old, and this is a client whose mom brought her in with her hair just like this. So we had to detangle her hair with oil on my hands, which I've already talked about in a previous video. At this point, her hair has been deep conditioned after her scalp and her hair shaft was detoxed. Now, this is where things get a little touchy, right? Because most women are grabbing for a whole bunch of different products whenever it's time to do their daughter's hair, because you are trying to avoid the blow dryer, you're trying to avoid flat irons because, oh, that's so damaging for your daughter's hair. But do you understand that the more you guys grab at all of these other Team Natural products and saturate your children's hair in oils and butters, the more likely you are to cause damage? Now, this little girl right here, she did not have her hair in a silk press all the time. The majority of the time, her mother went back and forth between silk presses, box braids, and Senegalese twists. I hope I just said that right? So before her mother would get her hair in twists, she would make sure that she got a deep conditioning treatment after a scalp detox and a hair shaft detox. And then she would get the proper blowout, not stretching the hair, being scared of heat damage and all of that, but actually get her hair blown out properly with the proper leave-in conditioner so her hair is not damaged. Then she would make sure that her ends looked really good, so that whenever her hair was in those braids, that it wasn't being damaged. And then she would only leave the braids in for 8 weeks. These are things you have to think about. But most times we don't really have proper practices because you are so scared of blow dryers and flat irons. And let's be real, if you are under the age of like 34, 35, most of your adult life has been Team Natural and Team Natural practices. So you are horrified at using at using heat on your children's hair. So instead of you using a blow dryer on your daughter's hair, you decide to go and get a crap load of products, and you're smothering products in a scalp that is at the very beginning stages of a hair growth cycle. Remember that the anagen phase, right? The anagen phase itself can last anywhere between like 4 to 5 years. So if you're smothering your children's scalp, your daughter's scalp, with oils and greases and butters, and she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, her body is just now developing. The follicles are just now developing. So there's never a time where you should put less product on the scalp than when you are in the midst of your very first hair growth cycle. When my daughter was 1 to 2 years old, right, the only thing that I was doing to her hair was putting it in cute little ponytails, or I would put it like in 2 braids, 2 French braids going straight to the back with like a cute little bow, not on her very ends, a little higher up than her ends, making sure that you're not wrapping anything around the ends. I'm not gonna get on threading, and if y'all want to do threading. I'm not talking about that. It is what it is. But as it pertains to what is healthiest for the fiber that is your hair, how would your arm be, right? If you had a whole bunch of thread just wrapped around your arm, like how would your arm be? How would the oxygen flow be? How would it look? How would the blood flow be? These are the things that I want you to think about. And if after you've left your arm, right? After you left your arm wrapped in thread the same way that you do your hair, if you don't see a difference in color of the blood circulation or anything, then go right ahead and do it. Like, that's great. Do it. But these are things that I want you all to think about. Now, I am posting this video again because I want you to see the texture of her hair, and I want you to know that this is a returning client of mine. I did her and her mother's hair on a regular basis. Her hair was always blown out just like this, and you don't see one drop of heat damage in her hair. One drop. So these are things that I want you to understand. You have to blow dry the hair properly. Now, I want to give a shout out to everybody on the channel that is constantly showing love. I love and appreciate you all so much, and I don't know where the channel would be without you, because I have a channel that you guys tell me is a lot different from other people's as it pertains to me commenting back and talking to my viewers. Well, that's because I'm not just here to necessarily entertain you. I'm here to help you educate yourself. So we need to talk. It's a two-way street. I want to be talking to myself. So I appreciate all of you that are constantly leaving comments. Even YouTube was like, hey, these are the people on your channel that are engaging with you the most. So I just wanted to show you love, because showing engagement helps so much. You don't even understand. Like, it is, leaving a comment is literally one of the best things you can do for me. It's better than buying anything. Like, leave me a comment. All right, I love y'all. So I am again blow drying her hair. I always love all of the edits that YouTube makes, because if you're watching this on your mobile phone, you can use your thumb and your index finger to zoom in on my round brush, because I want you to pay attention to the amount of hair that is in the round brush, and there is none. But I then want you to then, after you do your daughter's hair or your son's hair the way that you've been doing it, go look at the brush and the comb and look at how much hair you have in the brush, and then do the comparison like that, because something's wrong. You're not supposed to lose that much hair. The only time that you have globs of hair in a comb or in a brush is after you've taken braids out, or some type of like hair extensions or something, and that's just shed hair. You're supposed to lose so many strands of hair every single day. So if your hair has been braided up for a month, then what do? Obviously it's still going to be in there. So you need to make sure that your children's diet is also good. I have a video on hemoglobin, so make sure you check the link in the description box below. This is vitally important to your children as well. We have to pay attention to the things that our children eat, the things that our children are ingesting as well, because most of the time, especially if you don't really have time like that, our children's diets, everybody's children's diet is not like the best that it should be. Mine is. But I had times too where I was working 24/7, it felt like, so I didn't have time to make extremely nutritious meals. And you can tell in your children, especially with your little girls as they get older. My daughter is about to be 13 in December, which is freaking crazy. But as she's getting older and her hormones are starting to change, I have to make sure that I'm paying attention to the things that I'm feeding her, to the things that I'm allowing her to ingest into her body, because these things are going to have an effect on the rate that her hair grows, how it grows in, and so many different things. But you are not going to damage your daughter's hair by not blow drying it. This little girl that you're looking at right now, this video is 6 years old. She probably not a little girl no more, but this girl that you're looking at right now, her hair was blown out on a regular basis. And as you can see, she doesn't have heat damage. You only damage your hair if you do it wrong. Like the majority of women that you see on the street with blonde hair are not naturally blonde. They have hair color, but their hair is healthy. What does that mean? That means that there's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. So love me, right? It's the same thing with your hair. There's a right and a wrong way to color your hair, and if you don't do it right, it's gonna be damaged and broke off. There's a right and a wrong way to blow out the hair. If you blow dry it wrong, it's going to be broken off. This is why it is so vitally important to get a mannequin. This is where I may get pushback. Practice, 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 practice. It is so important. This is how you make sure that you're actually knowing what you're doing. And it is the same exact thing. If you know what you're doing, you're not going to damage the hair. The same thing that I said about hair color. You are not going to damage the hair with hair color if you know how to properly color hair. You're not going to damage hair with a blow dryer if you know how to properly blow dry hair. You do not damage hair with a flat iron if you know how to properly flat iron hair. And how do you master it? You practice. You practice. Looking at her hair, looking at her density. This is a young lady that gets her hair straightened on a regular basis. And she has no heat damage. Her hair is not thinning. It's not breaking off. None of those things. Her mother keeps up with healthy patterns. She doesn't put food and fruits and vegetables in her hair. She keeps it simple. And for that reason, her daughter has beautiful, healthy hair. And I want y'all to pay attention to that. Pay attention to the density of her hair. Pay attention to the shine that she has. And most importantly, pay attention to the lack of layered products that she has on her hair. Not only in my videos, right? I want y'all to just go across social media in general. Go across social media in general and look for cosmetologists like myself and pay attention to the amount of products that they actually use on their clients' hair. And then think about the amount of products that you use on your hair every day. Think about the amount of products that you're putting on your child's hair every day. Understand that whatever products you put on your daughter's hair go directly to her scalp. You need to get a mannequin. If you can spend $500 on a blow dryer, you can spend $35 on a mannequin that matches your texture or your daughter's texture. I said this already, but don't get mad at me when I say this. As a woman, we're pregnant for almost 10 months. And within that 10 months, you have more than enough time to get a mannequin and start practicing for different styles that you're going to do with your daughter's hair. Like I said, my daughter, I didn't straighten her hair for the first time until she was like 5 or 6, right? Like 5 or 6. Prior to that, she was just getting cute little flexi rod sets, perm rod sets, roller sets. I would like put a braid going across the front, and then she would have a cute little fro with her perm rods. Practice on a mannequin. Even right now, if your daughter is already here on earth, practice on a mannequin. And instead of your daughter having 5,000 or 6,000 products on her hair, instead of your daughter having all of this gel in her hair, the only thing she'll have in is leave-in conditioner and foam from you doing a perm rod set or a flexi rod set on her. And your daughter's her own person, so give her options, right? You can easily get a mannequin, get you flexi rods or perm rods, right? And you can do one of each curl pattern and put it on the mannequin, and you can ask your daughter like, hey baby, which one of these do you like? Which curl do you like? Do you like this purple one? I made this one with the purple rollers, this one with the, you know what I'm saying? Like, give her options. Which curl pattern do you like? And whichever one she picks, then do that one. Show her pictures, show her different options, and then do her hair. When y'all are doing these wash and goes and these twist styles, y'all are limiting y'all daughters to one hairstyle when she can have a bunch of them, but it's going to require more of you. Like, hair isn't supposed to be convenient. It's not supposed to be convenient. Washing your butt ain't convenient. Most of the time, you don't even feel like getting in the shower, especially if you've had a long day at work. It ain't convenient, baby. You need to wash your butt or it's going to stink and itch. These are things that I want all of us to think about because they're so vitally important. Everybody's always so freaked out and demonizing heat, like, oh my god, heat is so bad, it's so bad, we're gonna be bald from heat. It's like, no, you're not. And it's actually pretty exhausting to listen to watch. You guys, your hair is not all gonna fall out at the root if you use a flat iron. It's not. Because if that were true, the majority of women on the planet would be bald, and it is the exact opposite. The women who are blow drying and flat ironing their hair on a regular basis are the ones with long, healthy hair. And the ones that are making up things to do instead of the regular flat iron or the regular blow dryer or a regular perm rod set or flexi rod set, those are the ones that are getting damaged. The people who are constantly trying to reinvent the wheel. So I challenge you to just really be intentional practicing. Like I said earlier, when you go to a cosmetologist to get your hair done, you're expecting her to be licensed, to be a licensed professional that knows what she's doing. You don't want to sit in anybody's hair that just went to the Cosmo Prof, got a whole bunch of products and like, oh, I'm about to try this. Hopefully it turned out good. That's what you're doing to your daughter's hair. You're literally doing that exact thing to your daughter's hair. You have no formal education. You haven't taken the actual time to educate yourself. You haven't practiced on a mannequin. The first time you do whatever you doing to your daughter's hair is either going to be on your head or hers. These are things that you have to think about. There are always so many brand new products hitting the market, always. But we have to understand that if you want to be a test dummy and if you want to play in products, you grown. Do that. Do not do that to your baby. Don't use any product in your child's hair that hasn't been on the market for at least like 7 years. If it's a brand that hasn't been out on the market with great results for at least 7 years, I'm literally begging you, please do not use those products on your daughter's hair because you're making your daughter a test dummy. No, use it on somebody else's hair. Just like most of the women who are younger, who have younger daughters right now, their daughters going bald using Myo Organics just like everybody else. Stop using all of these random products on your daughter's hair. Absolutely not. It's a hard pill for most to swallow because it's cute, right? Like all of the twisties and the ponytails and the bows and all of that is it's all really cute. I get it. I understand. But long term is going to do way more harm to the human hair shaft. Even though they're cute little hairstyles and things of that nature, the only thing our hair is really supposed to do is just sit on our head. Yes, we can have certain things like protective styles and things of that nature, but even those are only supposed to be left in for a certain amount of time. Again, I'm not going to do anything comparing to race, but with the scientific mind, if you can just do some comparison and think about some little girls that you see with really long hair, if you were to just go ask their mother, what are your patterns and routines for her hair, the things that she's going to tell you, most black women are going to argue with her and say, well, I'm black and I can't blow dry my hair because the heat is bad, it's going to break it off. Well, I'm black and we can't blow dry our hair. Well, I'm black and we can't do that. And that's the problem. These are issues that are starting from a very young age, but I want you to pay attention to her hair and how her hair looks right now. If you pay attention to her hair, you'll see that I'm giving her a very small trim. There's a difference between a trim and a haircut. A lot of women are like, oh, I don't want to do a trim because they're scissor happy. They cut all of my hair. This is what a trim looks like. And unfortunately, I'm actually cutting a lot more hair than I wanted to because she had her braids in a little longer than normal, and they were like going swimming and stuff, so the chlorine got to her ends a little bit. So I'm actually cutting off a lot more hair than I would have normally cut off. But in the live that we had yesterday, people were like, oh, what do you think about trims? What do you think about trims? This is what a trim is, y'all. But the thing is, because y'all are so anti-trim, you go years without them, and then you finally go in, and instead of the cosmetologist only cutting a little bit of hair, like right now, she ends up having to cut 3-4 inches off because you need a haircut, not a trim. You have 3-4 inches of dead hair. I mean, not dead hair, broken ends. These are things that I want y'all to think about. It is your patterns. They're your patterns and routine that slow down the length retention process, because everybody's hair grows. Proof that everybody's hair grows, even a woman who looks at herself as bald head, if you have a relaxer, you still have new growth. Like after a couple of weeks, you have to relax your hair again. The relaxer doesn't wear off. Your hair is always relaxed. It's always relaxed. So if you have 2 inches of new growth, right, at the root, but your hair is still the same length that it was when you relaxed it, something that you're doing from wash day to wash day is breaking the ends off. The hair is growing. The fact that you need to do a retouch relaxer is proof that the hair is growing, but it is the practices that causes you not to retain length. So with that being said, and with you looking at her hair, the age that she is right now, if she keeps these patterns up with the length and the density that she has right now, her hair will be bra strap length by the time she's 20 years old. If she keeps these patterns up, it'll be there way before she's 20 years old. Look at how long her hair is right now. And I know for a fact she's not 14, 15, none of that in these pictures. I mean, in this video. At this point, I want to say she's about 12 or 13 in this video. So these are things that I want you to think about, even as it pertains to your daughter, right? Because we want to separate it. I don't know too many cosmetologists that have separate, I don't know any cosmetologists that have separate products for their little girls versus products for adult women. I'm using the same round brush on little girls that I'm using on grown women. There's no difference. It is the same. It's the same fiber. The difference is the stage that you're in your hair growth cycle, depending on the amount of time that you've been here on earth. All right. This is another little girl with beautiful hair whose mother has stayed true to her very simplistic patterns. Okay. Every little girl that you're watching in this video has a black mother and a black father. Okay. So I want y'all to know that. And she's been here on my channel quite a few times, and so has her mother. She looks just like her mother. Her mother is a black woman from Arkansas. Okay. So if I think it's Arkansas. Oh my God, Ashley, don't get me if I'm wrong. But again, I want you guys to get mannequins and practice, because when you actually practice something, when you actually get your hands in something, you stop demonizing it because you understand. The majority of people are demonizing things because they don't understand. You don't understand the proper way to use a flat iron. So you think that it's damaging because you don't know how to do it. And the time that you did do it, you didn't do it right, and it messed up your hair. That doesn't mean that flat irons and blow dryers are bad. It means that you did it wrong. So as it pertains to little girls' hair, whenever I would have clients that booked me for their daughters, the only thing that I changed was the cape, because my cape, sometimes depending on how tall they were, my cape was a little smaller, right? for younger girls. Other than that, everybody's hair was done the same. There's no difference between your daughter's hair and your hair. The only difference between me and my daughter's hair is the shampoos and the products that we use, because my daughter has low porosity hair and I have high porosity hair. It's the only difference. So when I'm using Nex's humectant protein shampoo, my daughter doesn't use that. My daughter uses Paul Mitchell Rosemary Mint. Is her jam. And then she has a couple of Joyco products that she uses whenever I'm giving her like deep conditioning treatments, reconstructive treatments. But yeah, these are things that I want you to think about as it pertains to your daughter's hair. Learn her porosity, learn her density. Start paying attention to your daughter's sebum level. Does she have an oily scalp? Does she have a high sebum level? Does she have a low sebum level? Does your daughter sweat in her sleep? Does she sweat in her scalp? These are the things that you need to pay attention to. Not what cute little styles you can do to her hair, because I know y'all don't want to hear this, but all of the hairstyles that y'all do are one of the main causes of the reason, or the main reasons, why y'all can't retain length. You're not able to retain length because most of the styles that you do require you to wrap something around the ends. Team Natural has made y'all believe that y'all have to wrap rubber bands around y'all ends to protect it. Or not just Team Natural, different cultural practices have made y'all believe y'all have to wrap things around your hair to protect them. Like tightly wrap things around your hair to protect them. Don't do that. Even when you have braids, the braids you're not tightly yanking to make a braid. You're just doing certain patterns. These are things that I really want y'all to think about. You're supposed to have weightless hair. If I would have put the amount of products that y'all put on y'all hair, like all of those globs of products on her hair, it would look nothing like this. It would be a stringy mess. You're supposed to have weightless hair. Make sure that your daughters are in the habit of having weightless hair. If you are in Team Natural and you have to break habits, that's fine. Make it so your daughter has to never break those habits. There's no reason to pile loads and loads and loads of product on anybody's hair. It's not a thing. And these are things that you have to think about. You should never be so hell-bent and so afraid of blow dryers and flat irons that it causes you to do things that make no sense, that it causes you to do things that causes scalp inflammation on somebody who hasn't even completed a full human hair growth cycle, right? So I'm giving you her hair because I want to show you different lengths and different textures. I have to say that I don't miss doing hair, but I miss the art form of hair. Oh my God, I do. Now, this is not a child. This is an adult woman, right? But I'm ending it with her hair because I want you guys to see the parallel. I want you to see how important it is to make sure that you are having healthy practices that last from your adolescence all the way up into your adulthood. Now, imagine if the very first little girl that you saw, imagine that this was her. As a grown woman, her hair would be all the way down her back if she kept up with those patterns. So as a mother, right, listening to the sound of my voice right now, I want you to really ask yourself, how much time have I taken out to really learn the human body? How much time have I really taken out to learn the human hair shaft so I can teach my daughter proper routines and proper practices? How much time have I spent, or have I spent my time looking at YouTube videos, figuring out the quickest hack or figuring out what the best product is? Really ask yourself that question. You don't have to answer. You don't have to tell me to answer. Ask yourself that. And my love, I need you to give your daughter the same attention the same level of expectancy that you have for a professional cosmetologist or for anybody that's going to be touching your hair. Some of y'all don't care about people being professional. Some of y'all are cool with going to somebody who hasn't been to cosmetology school, like just somebody who braids hair and they doing it for money. That's fine. Okay. What are you requiring? If that's all you require, then okay, I guess your daughter shouldn't require nothing else of you. But if you're requiring more of other people, then you should be expecting yourself. You should be requiring more of yourself before you start touching your daughter's hair. I think so many times when people ask me like, oh, talk about kids' hair, they're expecting me to tell them something like brand new, like, oh, well, for children's hair, there's a specific technique. There's no technique. The same exact follicles that you have right now, let's say you 50. If you're 52 years old, the same follicle you have right now at 50 is the same follicle that you had when you were 5. The only difference now is went through multiple hair growth cycles. Because like I said, the human hair growth cycle is about 7 years, 10 years for Asian women, is what scientists have found. So you've had multiple hair growth cycles. It's the only difference. And then your body has picked up, right? Your sebaceous gland has been running for 50 years. Your sweat gland has been running for 50 years. Your diet is different than, let's say, a 2 to 3 year old's diet is. So your body has more things to fight up against. Your hormones are activated, so you have more DHT in the blood, more testosterone that's converted into DHT, more estrogen. Those are the things that have changed, but you still have the same follicles at 5 that you do at 50. The hair is the same fiber at 5 that it is at 50. And truth be told, everybody acts as if your child's hair is so weak. Your hair is actually weaker at 70 than it is at 8. Your 10-year-old's hair is stronger than yours if you've been doing everything right. When you head on out of this world, your body is not as strong. Your teeth start falling out. The enamel on your teeth getting weak. Like as you get older, your different things in you start to deteriorate. So your hair is more prone to breakage as you get older. Your baby isn't like, oh, don't touch their hair or it's all gonna fall out. Oh my God. Like, no, y'all. So I hope that this makes sense. I really want you guys to practice with a mannequin. The reason that I'm showing you this last video is because I want you again to get a visual representation. I'm constantly telling you that the length doesn't matter. All of the patterns of the routines are the same. The only thing that you're seeing that's different now is the size of my round brush. I'm using slightly smaller round brushes because her hair is shorter. So I just need a little bit more attention. So I'm using a smaller round brush. But this is why you need to get a mannequin so you can practice these things, because even I just said that, right? So because I said that, you'll be like, okay, Sin said if the hair is shorter, you got to get a smaller round brush, and my hair is shorter, so let me go get a smaller round brush, and I'm about to watch this video and I'm gonna twirl it in my hair the same way she twirling it. Do not do that. I am not recommending anybody to do that. Go get a mannequin and then play this video and then twirl the round brush like I'm doing it in the video on the mannequin. Because guess what? If the brush gets stuck in the mannequin's hair and the mannequin's hair starts breaking out, she can't talk. She can't write nobody on Yelp. She can't say, mommy, that hurts. None of that's going to happen because it's not a real girl. So get a mannequin. Say it with me right now in the comments. Get a mannequin, right? So as we're blow drying her hair, it's very, very easy. It's very, very simplistic to get through it. It's very easy to comb it. If you do not want to blow dry your hair or your daughter's hair, do a roller set, do a flexi rod set, do a perm rod set. But the thing is, after people do a perm rod set or a flexi rod set, they're like, oh my God, how do I keep it up? It's hard to keep it up. Well, that's because you've chosen the hard road. That's the harder road. It's a little bit more maintenance. It's a little bit more like redoing your curls on a regular basis without oil and grease. It's a little bit more. You want to go heatless, you anti-blow dryer, you anti-flat iron, girl, it's going to take more time. It's going to take a lot. Blow dryers and flat irons, it's the easy way. That's the easy route. Let's hit it and quit it. It's over. It's done. Real easy. You want to do roller sets and flexi rod sets, it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. You're going to have to practice for a longer period of time to practice having the right amount of hair on the roller so that you get the right amount of tension. It's going to take more time. And then when we're talking about how to tie your hair up at night and all of that, it's going to be more complicated. Absolutely. So that's something that you have to decide on. Do you want the long way or you want the easy way? Which one? Blow dryer, flat iron, easy way. Roller set, flexi rod set, longer way. Neither one is better than the other. I love me a good flexi rod set, a good roller set, a good perm rod set, and I love me a good blowout. I do want to mention this. A blowout is not a hairstyle. So when you wash your hair and blow dry it, that's not it. Especially if you have really, really curly hair. Because you're going to notice throughout the day, your hair, especially if you sweat in your scalp, is going to revert right back. Style your hair. If you're going to blow it out and you don't know what to do with it, at least put it in 2 French braids going straight to the back. Go Pocahontas on them. Something. Don't just leave it just sitting on top of your head, because it's a blowout. And I'm only saying that because people be like, oh, see, how do I properly manage my blowout? It always gets tangled. It's going to get tangled. It's not in a hairstyle. It's a blowout. Same thing for your children's hair. Set up styles, like get real hairstyles, and it doesn't always have to be braids and rubber bands and twisties and ponytails and all of that. You don't have to do that to your daughter's hair, and you really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Again, I want you to just sit with it. We don't have to go back and forth in the comments about it. Just think about it. Start observing. Be a scientist. Like, really start observing. Look at it. Look at other little girls with really long, healthy hair. And I'm saying long and healthy. Just because somebody's hair is long doesn't mean it's healthy. And if you're looking at hair that's curly, you do not know if whether or not it's healthy. You cannot tell. Curly hair lies because it swells. Our hair swells when it's wet. And then if it's air dried, or even if it's diffused in its swollen state, it's swollen. You can't see the true density of it. That's why a woman will have beautiful curls while it's curly, but then you straighten it out and you can see through to her soul. It's because the hair lies whenever it's swollen. These are things that you have to take into consideration. These are things that you have to think about. I also want to point out the hair color on her ends. I need y'all to understand, hair color is an extremely big commitment. If you are not committed to hair color, and when I say committed, I mean if you're going to team natural, you do not do hair color. It is not an option for you. To walk around with wet hair and a hydrogen bond is constantly being broken with hair color, one of the worst things you can do. We're going to talk more about hair color in our next live lecture. In our next video like this, we're going to talk about hair. Well, that's not true. In one of the videos coming, we're going to talk about hair color and chemicals and all of that. And that's where I'm going to dive even deeper into keratin treatments and Botox, hair Botox and all of that. We're going to jump into that whenever we get into hair color and chemicals and things of that nature. So y'all can really, really understand what perspective to put them in and what they're actually made for, because everything's upside down. But as it pertains to your hair and your daughter's hair, I want you to make sure that you get a mannequin. Get a mannequin. If you don't buy anything else ever in life, buy a mannequin, especially if you're a mother, and begin to practice. Begin to talk to your daughter. Find her personality. See what she actually likes. Like I said, get all of the different flexi rods, and on your mannequin you can just do one curl of each one, dry it, take the flexi rod out, and let her look at it so she can see and say, oh baby, which one do you like? Which curl pattern is the cutest for you? And then whichever one she picks, let her pick, let that be the thing that makes her feel like, oh well, I chose my hairstyle, my mom listened to me, and this is how I'm wearing my hair. And then do roller sets, perm rod sets, flexi rod sets on your daughter. And if you want to put a cute little braid at the front or something like that, then do that. And it's not a big deal. You can get a if you don't have a professional hooded dryer, you don't have to. You can just simply get one of those attachable those blow dryer attachments, and you can get one for like $19 from Amazon, and you attach it to your blow dryer, and your daughter can sit right there. You could give her like a little cute little show to watch, or whatever she ends up doing. You could sit there and talk to her. It could be like mommy and me time. I don't know, you could do her nails, something while she's under the dryer. And then after she comes out from under the dryer, style her hair and keep it moving. Girl, she can have a different color flexi rod every other week. These are things that you have to think about. And then when your daughter goes to sleep, this is the thing. If you decide to do flexi rod sets and perm rod sets, it's going to be more like of a commitment. So before your daughter goes to sleep, you might want to rewrap her hair in the flexi rods. Obviously not each individual one, right? But you can do like half the amount. Let's say if you put, I'm just throwing a number out there, let's say you put 20 flexi rods in the first time, the second time just put in 10. And then in the morning you just styling her hair right before she goes to bed. That way you're not worried about frizz and all of that jazz, blah blah blah. So these again are things that I want you to think about, things that I want you to pay attention to as it pertains to styling your daughter's hair, doing your daughter's hair, growing it out. A child does not need a hair growth oil. Oh my God. A child does not need a growth treatment. Nothing has stopped her hair growth cycle. It just started. It is literal insanity to use hair growth oils on a child's scalp. These are the things that y'all need to think about. So all you're doing is slowing down the cycles and the patterns. The main reason why I've never really made a video about kids hair is because, to me, it's just my professional opinion, there's no difference. I don't do a child's hair differently than I do an adult's hair. And it's the same thing like when y'all go into hair salons and be like, oh, she charged me this, but she's a little girl. Girl, I should charge more for kids, because it's literally the same thing as an adult doing their hair. There's no difference, and they a kid, so they're not holding their hair right. They probably moving all around. So girl, it's crazy. So these are the things, again, I know I keep saying it, I want you to think about all of these things. Sit with all of these things, because when you take in your daughter to a hair salon, the hairstylist is not like, oh, she's a little girl, let me go get my kid brushes. What? Absolutely not. And if they have kid stuff, it's for decoration, to make the children that are in the chair feel more comfortable to get their hair done. But they're not giving different products. Like if you take your son in to a barber, if you take your son in to see a barber, and the barber, your son sits down, even if your son like 3-4 years old for his first haircut, the barber doesn't go to the back and get different clippers and all new tools because it's a little kid. No, he's gonna cut his hair the same way he cuts a grown man's hair. his pressure, the amount of pressure he uses is going to be different, right? Like maybe he's going to be a little more gentle. He's not going to be as heavy-handed because it's a child, but other than that, everything remains the same. So if you want to learn how to master your daughter's hair, mom, you have to first master your own. If you want to learn how to properly style your daughter's hair, you have to first learn how to properly style your own, because it's not complicated. We make it complicated because there are plenty of other people who have very, very simplistic routines. If you go talk to any woman of any race with hair to her butt that is healthy, that you can actually see, because somebody with long curly hair, you don't know what their hair looks like. So that's not up for debate, because you don't know the health of their hair. If it's curly, you do not know. So these are the things that I need you to think about. I know this video is long, but believe it or not, there is going to be a part 2. Leave your comments in the comment section so I can know what you guys are thinking. But I really need y'all to understand that it is our patterns and routines that limit us from growing hair. And it is our patterns and routines that are set at a very young age. And you have to make a decision on what pattern and routine you're going to set for your child, because at the end of the day, generational curses are not curses, they're patterns. They're generational patterns and generational habits, and we have to learn how to look at the things of the past and take the things that are great and leave the things that do not serve us. I need you to really sit down and do the process of elimination. I'm not going to tell you what things no longer serve you, but when you really sit there and you really think about it, you are very aware of what things serve you and what things don't. So let me know in the comments if you can think right off the top of your head of a few things that are no longer serving you that you're ready to let go of. And let me know if this gave you the answer that you were looking for. I know that you guys were expecting me to tell you like techniques and hairstyles and stuff to do for little girls. That's not my thing. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but that's just not the type of cosmetologist that I am. It's not the type of cosmetologist that I was when I was standing behind a chair. Hair is hair, and the difference between your daughter's hair and your hair is the stage of the human hair growth cycle that you're currently in. Thanks for watching this video. Again, leave me a comment, and I hope you have a great day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Love.